tradition with a twist. That's the mark of a maker.
I'm loving that music.
Welcome back. We've got a taste of Italy in the kitchen today.
Oh, yeah. Simon's back on cooking duty. Tagliatelle and meatballs is what's on the menu today.
Sì. Buongiorno tutti.
How are you?
So we're going for a taste of Italy with them, a real family favourite. This is on the rota now at least once a week in our house because it's a dinner that most, if not all, the kids will eat. And it's also one they can all help you make. Get a production line going and get them involved. And if they're invested in the food and they're invested in the cooking, they'll eat it.
And enjoy it maybe more.
Correct.
So on a scale of 1 to Asher, we'll just order a takeaway. How difficult is it?
Oh, this is 4 or 5. Nice and
really?
simple.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
We're going to start with the meatballs because that's the star ingredient. So into a large mixing bowl, 125 grams of breadcrumbs. Then we have 1 onion, which I have chopped finely. Or as finely as I could in the dark last night. A couple of cloves of garlic that I've grated. So 3 cloves of garlic in here.
Okay.
And then we're going to follow that in with a little herb mix that I've made. So this is a tablespoon each of oregano, basil, sage and parsley. Just mix them together.
For the extra bit of flavour.
Exactly, and in it goes. Follow it with, it says in the recipe, a tablespoon of salt, so a good crack of salt.
Okay.
Little crack of black pepper.
And it does make all the difference. We were chatting earlier on.
We were.
You can fall down by not adding the salt
By
and pepper.
leaving out one thing, you go,
yeah.
why am I not getting that taste?
And the seasoning is so important.
Exactly. Couple of eggs in there as well.
Okay.
And then to the star of the show. And as you rightly said earlier on, we're going to mix our meat. So we have 450 grams of minced beef and 450 grams of minced pork, and that is the key to a good meatball.
So
you want to have a
meat.
mixture of meat. It is, but you know what, Laura? I'm going to get in here now and start mixing this. With the quantities that I've done here,
what do you think?
And depending on the size, whatever size you form the meatballs into, you'll get about 20 to 25 in this.
Right.
So this will do you for more than one dinner because you can make up the meatballs, sit them on the tray in the fridge, let them firm up a little, and then you can pop them into a freezer bag and freeze them. So you've got homemade meatballs ready to go at your beck and call.
I'm jealous of you doing that now. I think that's very therapeutic.
It is very therapeutic.
Make it in bulk. Is it good? If you're doing it once.
Yeah, make the quantities that I'm suggesting here in the recipe, and you'll get 2 or 3 dinners out of it at least. You can take the meatballs out, put them in a bread roll. You got your own meatball sub with the red sauce. So you want to get these ingredients very well combined together. Okay, so you can see I'm forming it in there now to make the meatballs. Grab yourself a little roasting tray and line it with some tin foil. And you can go as big or as small as you like. Err on the side of small because these will take on the sauce when they're in the sauce cooking and they'll get bigger. Okay. So all you do, as I say, you get about 20, 25. Get the kids involved. This is where the kids get involved.
Is it important to make sure that all the meatballs are the same size?
It's not really. It's not really.
Because I've burnt ones in the past because they've been smaller than the others.
They want to be in and around the same size. Look at the 3 I've just done there, for example. They're not all exactly the same. You don't want them tiny and then huge because they would have different cooking times. So lay them out in your tray. And another little key ingredient then is I want to just, when you have the tray full, you want to add a little drop of hot water and then loosely cover that just with a little piece of tin foil. You don't want to wrap it, just cover it over. The water is in there that's going to create this lovely steam bath, and we're going to cook them in the oven at 200 degrees for about 25 minutes.
Okay. Is that the key to not drying them out?
It is.
Time and again, I've had meatballs and they're drying, there's no moisture.
We're going to help proceedings as well by cooking it in a ragu as well. But when you have 25 minutes done the meatballs, take the tin foil off, just let them cook for another 5 minutes, get a bit of colour in there.
And that's fan oven, is it 200 degrees?
That's a fan oven, yeah. So on to our sauce. We're going to start, as most of these sauces do, with a little hit of olive oil. Now, Laura, you were saying that sometimes you struggle with
I just have yet to find the perfect recipe for me to create these sauces. And you were saying, because it's so versatile, your spaghetti bolognese.
So versatile. This could use for your bolognese, your lasagna, or for meatballs. This is a ragu, a red sauce. And we're going to start it, a little bit of olive oil, and we're going to go in with some onions that we've sliced, OK? Now, this is a real cupboard clearer, this one. So I'm going to hit it with some peppers. I like using the orange, the red and the yellow peppers. I don't like using the green ones. They're a little bit bitter for me in a red sauce. And this for me then is the star vegetable, leek. So I have taken 1 leek, I've chopped it and I've washed it. And that goes in there. The leek for me just gives the sauce a beautiful creamy flavour. I put leeks nearly in everything. If I'm doing stews or anything like that, a leek would always be in there. Now, most traditionalists will say, no.
Yeah,
Italian, no.
The nonnas, as you say, what would they be saying to that?
They'd be throwing their slippers at the television. But sure, we're not going to fall out over it. So, in real time, give these 5 or 6 minutes. Give everybody a chance to get to know each other. A couple of cloves of garlic that I've grated also in there. Then we're going to add a tin of chopped tomatoes. In that goes, and a tablespoon of tomato puree. And this is the base for our sauce. We're going to let that cook for about 15, 20 minutes.
Are you going to add any sweetener, Simon?
We're going to add a little pinch of sugar, as usual. There we go. Little pinch of sugar, just to balance the acidity in those tomatoes.
Yeah, 'cause the chopped tomatoes can be quite bitter sometimes.
They can. And don't be afraid to taste one.
Okay.
Pop your finger into the tin, taste it. If it's very sharp, then put in a little bit more sugar. So we've got all this cooking for about 15, 20 minutes. Then we're going to hit it with a pint of chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock if you like. You can also use a beef stock if you want to bump up the beef flavour in the meatballs. So that is the basic ragu. So that will cook away. Now, for a bolognese, all you want to do then is fry your mince separately, add that in there, and that's your bolognese sauce. It's also the sauce for your lasagna. But
is there a difference, Simon, between a ragu and a bolognese?
It's the same. A ragu is the gravy. Italian Americans would call it a gravy, the red sauce. So ragu is a sauce that you just cook down low and slow, but it's a red sauce. These have had 25 minutes.
Okay.
And all we do then at that point is...
All perfectly formed, can I just add? None of them are disintegrating.
They're all fine. See, they've had 25 minutes covered, remember, with the water, and then they've had 5 minutes uncovered. And then all we're going to do is add all of our meatballs. In fact, I'm just going to pick that up and throw them into our ragu, and then we're going to put a lid on that and walk away from it. And that's going to cook out for about an hour and a half.
That long?
Yeah, it can take 2 hours. Let it sit there. This is one of those dishes that you can leave and let do its thing.
How low? Are you just simmering or even...
you just want it on a blip, as Jamie Oliver would call it. You just want to see that sauce moving.
Yeah.
That's all.
Pop.
And don't be afraid to go back and give it a bit of love. If you invest more into the food, you'll get it back in the taste.
And by that you mean don't be eating it.
Exactly.
Every time you go back, it'd be very tempting.
To serve it, I've cooked some tagliatelle. As per packing instructions, dried tagliatelle, nothing wrong with that product at all. And this is our finished sauce. So this has had about 2 hours. So you can see it's cooked down, it's blipping away. The meatballs are going to be very, very moist. So all you want to do is just take the meatballs out.
And the sauce has thickened up as well.
The sauce has thickened up. You'll see, because we started with a pint, remember, of stock in there.
That's why I thought it was going to be watery.
No, and then we had our tin of tomatoes as well. We had a good bit of liquid in there.
But it's not too saucy either, is it? It's not slathered in it like...
This is a real family favourite. I'm telling you, you just pop that dish into the middle of the table.
And it'd be like hungry hippos.
And you'll have hungry hippos. Yeah. I'm just going to pour some of the sauce over it to finish.
Oh, that looks really delicious, Simon.
There we are. And then just to finish it, of course, it being an Italian dish, you want to just hit that with a little pinch of Parmigiano. And there we are. That is a family winner. Homemade meatballs, homemade ragu, served with tagliatelle.
And I love the way you've presented it as well.
Happy days. I think that'd feed you and me, Ada, would it?
For a starter.
And the crew.
Amazing.
So it's nice and simple. Again, it's a one-pot wonder. You know, again, ingredients you'll all have in the house. Yeah. There's nothing out of the ordinary there. Just takes a little bit of patience. Leave that for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it's done.
Can you change up the veg that you popped in the sauce?
Of course you can.
Absolutely. If you don't like peppers, leave the peppers out. You can throw a few mushrooms in there if you want.
Try the leeks.
Bit of celery. The leeks are a winner. If you're going to do one thing today, add a leek to your bolognese.
There's me telling you, of course you can. I watch him and I think I'm an expert. There'll be a lot of people trying that this week. If you want to get the full recipe details, they're up on our website, virginmediatelevision.ie/IrelandAM.
Thanks, Si. Now, well done. Up next, we're crossing over to Jay Quickenden's house. We're going to be finding out how he's getting on in lockdown after this quick break.
Right, time to taste.
That looks delicious.
Twist. That's the mark of a maker.